AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. Shea, Dixon in 15 minutes. LSU AD Verge Osbury, 1 hour. The Osberries taste like Osberries. Ben McDonald, that was Willy Wonka reference. The schnozberries.
Snot, yes, there you go.
Is it schnoz or schnoz? Schnozberries. I don't know. Schnoz or schnoz? What?
I don't know. Yeah, I always thought it was schnoz.
Schnoz. Yeah. Ben McDonald next hour. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, a lot to get to today. Glad you're hanging out with us here. The LSU baseball Tigers wrapped up 4 games in 4 days. They're off here on Fat Tuesday. They'll play Nichols on Wednesday and then take off to Jacksonville for a round robin this weekend, which should, the competition will ramp up dramatically. We'll get a better look at the Tigers when they're punching closer, not at their own weight, but closer to their own weight. But LSU beats Kent State on Monday, 10-7. And a lot to like about this. They kept the offensive pressure on, scoring in each of the first 6 innings. And I'd love Gavin Guidry coming in and putting out the fire late the way that he did. Now, it's 2 outings for Gavin Guidry on the season, and in each of his outings, he has struck out 5 in the 2 innings that it was 2 1/3 on Monday, 2 innings on Friday. But Gavin Guidry has been outstanding so far, which is fantastic to see for LSU. Couple of takeaways from this game, and again, this is a lot of LSU easing into the season. Over the weekend, we got to see a lot of pitchers. We got to see 3 different players start at second base over 3 days. We got to see late inning defensive replacements. We got to see different lineups. Chris Stanfield's been out the past couple of games with a hand injury that Jay Johnson. Can you play that real quick? This was Jay after the game. Just the people have been wondering why Stanfield hasn't been playing the last 2 games. This is it here.
He's doing okay. Yeah, it's the swellings didn't go down a lot between yesterday and today, and so the hitting will be the last thing to come. We could pinch run him. We could play defense. He can catch the ball. It's just too swollen to turn the barrel over.
Chris Stanfield has played roughly 10,000 college baseball games, so not super worried about him not being out there in a February game against Kent State. Just get your hand healthy and be ready to roll whenever LSU will invariably need him for the start of conference play. But hopefully it's much before then for Chris Stanfield. But a few things. Number one, how can we start anywhere other than Jake Brown and this just scorching hot start? 2 more homers on Monday. That's 4 so far to start the season. He's hitting a robust .529. He's awesome. And I know there's some of you that are going to think I'm going to sit here and take a victory lap. Of course, I'm not going to do that 4 games into the season or ever. And it's not like I'm any type of savant. All you need is eyes to see that Jake Brown is basically from central casting of what you want a baseball player to look like. He's 6'2", 205. He hits with power to all fields. He can hit for average. He hit .320 last year. He's got plus speed. He's got a plus arm. He's got a great glove. He's effectively a defensive center fielder playing right field. he's great. And if he keeps this up, number one, it will be an incredible answer to the question of how LSU is going to replace the power numbers lost by Jared Jones. I'm not suggesting Jake Brown's going to hit 20-plus home runs, although he certainly could. But he's mostly, I think, Derek Curiel gets so much attention, and rightfully so. He's outstanding. But you can look at Curiel and Brown side by side and see that Brown is a more advanced version of Derek Curiel. And I know that's going to sound odd, but Curiel played every day last year as a freshman where Brown platooned. But Curiel affects the baseball. Brown affects the baseball when he hits it. Curiel certainly has shown the ability to hit for power to all fields, but as Terrio has told us for years, of course, power is always the last tool to come along. But Brown's got a better arm than Curiel. Brown's a step faster than Curiel. Jay Johnson has said that Jake Brown's the best athlete on the team. So I don't think this is any great surprise. And I am really excited to see what it'll look like where Jake Brown gets another 100 at-bats this year. Jake Brown with 250, 280 at-bats this season, what that's going to look like as far as production should be really, really fun, especially with him hitting right here in the middle of this lineup. So great start for Jake Brown. 4 home runs in the game. Braun and York also homered. Mason Braun hitting his first home run was awesome. And this is a guy, I was talking to a scout who comped him to Kyle Schwarber, and it makes sense, and we'll see where he ultimately ends up landing as a fielder in his career. But for now, what you want is the bat and the big pop potential out of that bat. And he's one of those guys we're likely going to see platoon at DH this year and may end up becoming the primary DH. We'll see. He got the start on opening day. But, Braun is a guy with a super high ceiling who can help replace a lot of that power and be a dangerous bat sitting anywhere in the lineup. And it was so nice to see him hit his first bomb. And it was a laser opposite field, which sort of illustrates the ability right there. After the game, Jay Johnson did talk about Mason Braun because this is a guy that they have been talking a lot about here leading up to his freshman season.
You see it with a young guy like Mason to stay on the ball and hit a fastball hard the other way with 2 strikes and 2 outs with runners in scoring position, and he's just really strong, so he can drive it over the fence. He's got some real hitter qualities. He loves baseball. He's a perfect player for me, perfect player for our program. I'm not into the comp thing a lot, but he has a lot of Trey Morgan, Josh Pearson, and Cade Beloso combined, is how I would explain him as a hitter, and that's a big compliment. And I'm really excited about his present and his future.
York hit the other homer, of course, homered in his first at-bat, and everybody we've talked about him now for several weeks being a fan favorite. I can't wait to see what the nicknames end up being. I know he said he prefers Big Papa, but the NIL deals that are sure to come. How about yesterday, man? On first base, got himself a nice secondary lead. Beautiful read on the dirt ball, took off. Beautiful form slide into second base. The crowd loved it, which was awesome to see. He's 1 for 1 on stolen bases this season. And I know we're going to talk about the power because he was a 20-homer guy a year ago at Grand Canyon. But the thing that I'd been told about York leading up to this season was the most impressive thing is his plate discipline. And yes, we're going to talk about the homers, but in 11 at-bats, he's got 4 hits, 2 of them homers, of course, but he's walked 4 times. He's been hit by 2 pitches. He has a sacrifice fly. So he is finding productivity during his plate appearances, even when he's not hitting the ball out of the yard, which is awesome. We talked about second base. There were 3 different second basemen in 3 games over the weekend. Dardar started there on Monday. He was 1 for 2 at the plate, but he walked 3 times. So again, that's a guy that probably defensively is a little bit of a liability at second base. Not probably, he is. He's a liability defensively at second base. But you want the bat in the lineup. So I could see a world where if Dardar kind of emerges as sort of your everyday second baseman, or certainly against right-handers, then maybe Jack Ruckert becomes the late inning defensive replacement. Like look at the first batter that Grant Fontenot faced, the roller to the right side for the base hit. Now they were in a defensive shift, but that's still a play that Dardar probably should have, or the starting second baseman at LSU should have been able to make. So that's one of those where, and that sort of compounded the issue in that inning, was it the seventh for Fontenot. So you've got better options defensively, but Jay's going to have to weigh, and we know Jay prefers offense, so he'll likely go with the better bat, which is very likely Dardar at this point, especially with Reeves playing in left field with Stanfield out. But just something to watch. If you want the positives on the bump, Sheeran and Guidry just continue to be awesome. Devin Sheeran has faced 4 hitters. He struck them all out. I mean, he's been everything so far. It's early, but he's been everything that, he's been worth the wait. We'll put it to you that way. And we talked about Guidry a little bit as well. Guidry relies so much on his breaking ball. It will shorten his outings because inevitably there's going to be a day where he can't land the breaking ball. And when he can't land the breaking ball, he's going to be in trouble throwing his fastball over the plate. But love the emotion, and it's infectious, and it's so obvious when he comes out of the bullpen, and the team feeds off of it, and he has been awesome, and he's going to be a key guy out of the bullpen for this LSU team. So that's awesome. But Sheeran was so fun to watch, man. I can't even imagine being a right-hander facing Devin Sheeran, just jelly-legging right-handers. They'll play Nichols on Wednesday. We'll see where they go. Maybe it's Cooper Williams. Connor Benj hasn't thrown yet. He certainly could start in that game. Williams might make sense, but then do you want Williams available for you on Friday, potentially in the game in Jacksonville? If so, then you maybe don't throw Williams on Wednesday. So there's no shortage of options for Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske in which way they want to go, but they're sorting through things as they're wont to do here in the early going. But the Tigers are 4-0 and continuing to look really impressive, both with their depth of quality arms and their ability to hit 1 through 9. So Tigers 4-0. They have the day off today, and then they'll be back at it on Wednesday with Nichols coming into the box. All right, our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with Bud Light, the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. If you are at a parade today or just taking the day for Mardi Gras, make sure you have plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light on the parade route with you. Was at Orpheus yesterday at our parish party. We had the balcony at Avenue Pub, was drinking some delicious ice-cold Bud Light with my parish koozie. There on the balcony at Avenue Pub on St. Charles, watching Orpheus last night. We had a great time. But listen, whether you're at a parade, whether you're at a ball game where they have the officially licensed LSU Baseball National Championship commemorative aluminum bottles, whether you're just at home, your favorite watering hole restaurant, make sure you've got the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the national champs. That's Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, it's after further review. We're going to knock out a break. Shea Dixon on 3 is going to join us next. Verge Osbury in 45 minutes from right now. Of course, a day ago, a landmark announcement for LSU with the jersey patch sponsorship with Woodside Energy. That we'll talk about his early impressions of Lane Kiffin, and a lot of other stuff that we'll get to with Verge coming up here in about 45 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Check them out online, duplessisbuilders.net. Remember, when you go to the website, so convenient on the homepage, whether you're looking for pool or outdoor kitchen, on the homepage at duplessisbuilders.net, they have a pick your pool or pick your kitchen option where you click on it. And yet, listen, you can design any custom pool or outdoor kitchen you want. They'll work with you to do whatever you want. But they have designs, 11 different pool designs, starting as low as $48,000. And financing is available, by the way, where you can pick your design and then select it, and then you can pick all your finishes. What tiling, what tiles do you want? Do you want fountains, water features, LED lights, all that sort of stuff? You pick all that. Pick all your finishes. You can do it right there on the website at duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Start that path to building your dream pool today. It's duplessisbuilders.net.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, glad you're with us here. We always appreciate Sunshine, sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. Past the new PQ exit, which is coming along every single day. Pass it every day on my way to and from work. You'd see the brand new Sunshine facility going up right there. Can't wait for it to be open here in a matter of weeks. And when it is, we'll be there for the grand opening. We'll let you know when they do the ribbon cutting over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Shea Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger, joins us every Tuesday. Good enough to hang here. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Happy Mardi Gras, Matt.
Happy Mardi Gras. Thanks for making time on the holiday. Good news, I guess, for Lane Kiffin. On Monday, we found out that Jake Olsen, after reports that he was entertaining an offer from the Washington Commanders, is staying in Baton Rouge. Reaction to the Olsen news?
Yeah, I think it's big for a number of reasons, Matt. Obviously, one is that continuity that you keep just simply with the staff, right? And then the players that you return, and you've brought in these transfers. Ty Benefield at safety is a big one. Lath and Ransom, and I'll kind of include him in the relationship side of this.
Put him down. Just call him, please. Shea, we're having a little trouble. I don't know if you can hear me, Shea. We're having a little trouble with the with the connection there. I don't know if it's bad on our end or what it may be, but just call him on his cell. We'll get Shea here. I don't want to miss what he's saying there about Olsen, and that feels significant. And I'm sure at some point Lane and/or Jake Olsen, Blake Baker will speak about that decision. But when the NFL comes calling, typically the NFL gets what they want. I know there was some flirtation there, some reported interest in Charlie Weiss Jr., but this feels like it's the second assistant on this staff that there at least was some interest or overtures from the NFL that have chosen to stay at LSU. Okay, we have Shea back with us. Shea, let's just start over there, man. The phone was not cooperating with us on the connection. So you were saying a reaction to Jake Olsen remaining in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I think it's big for a few reasons. Obviously, the staff continuity, right? That they kept Blake Baker when he made that decision to pass on the chance to be Tulane's head coach and stay at LSU, and he got a new deal. And everyone but that D-line spot, coach-wise, you kept. And then here late, and even in the NFL hiring season, it felt like Jake Olsen getting an opportunity to move on, and was the Commanders at the end of this past week that he was offered a spot on the staff, and there was a lot of buzz that, okay, he's likely headed out, and instead it's staying put. And obviously Lane Kiffin and LSU and Bird, who you'll have on later, did what they had to do to keep him. This is a guy that Baker, remember, brought with him from Missouri, but even though he's from the Dakotas and was at Missouri with him, I think he's been at 4 or 5 Louisiana colleges across his coaching career. So he knows everything down here, but knows Baker. And I think that combination of splitting the DB room with Raymond and Olsen has worked out well for him the past 2 years. And then you look at kind of the continuity you have with bringing back Spears. Yes, A.J. Halsey moves on, but you bring back Tamarcus Cooley, who, remember, Halsey missed some time, what was it, like half a game or whatever. So it was Cooley who played the most snaps of anyone on the defensive roster this past season. So he's got that room where you've got experience with those two guys, Spears and then Cooley, and you've brought in Ty Benefield, who they love out of Boise State. That was a guy who kind of like Mansour Delaney a year ago, if you'll remember, Matt. I don't even know if people kind of tracked it at the time, but he could have gone pro and thought about it, and instead said, okay, I'll transfer to LSU. I'll go to that bigger stage, playing the SEC. And now you've got his younger brother coming in, transferring in, which only a year ago, he's coming from Ohio State. It was just a year ago that he was being recruited by Jake Olsen to LSU. So that relationship is already there. And you don't have to, again, now go searching for another coach, which on defense, they only had to do it one spot. On offense, you had to do the entire staff. So the ability to keep that defensive staff in place and then win that Baker battle, which in turn obviously kept guys like Olsen here and now kind of helped even further get them to stay, is big, I think, because we know what to expect from this defensive staff, and that's not going to take any major leap in either direction, I don't think, from Williams to another coach. You're not replacing everyone, so he can kind of come in seamlessly, and you can kind of keep moving forward. So I think toss in recruiting, which he's already got relationships with a lot of 2027 prospects. You just keep moving forward, which I think was the goal for Lane in the offseason, right? Was that, hey, I'm going to keep this defensive staff in place. Well, that meant keeping people like Jake Olsen through not just the college season, but the NFL season.
Shea, what is Jake Olsen's reputation as a recruiter?
I thought you were going to ask what he made. I was like, man, I have no idea. I just Google it. He's got a good one. I know, look, everyone talks about Corey Raymond, but Olsen, look, Deshaun Spears is someone who he had gotten close to. I mean, just because he was a local guy, that relationship, I think, is one that has been strong. Helped keep Deshaun Spears here is one of the elements. I mean, he could have entered the portal if he thought, hey, they're looking at other safeties and returning Cooley. And then just building out on this 2027 class, even here in Louisiana. I mean, there's some DBs you can look at. Aiden Anning's little brother, Jay Anning, is a safety that he's got a good relationship. And then nationally, he's already started. I mean, they were on the road right when the portal ended for 2 weeks in January, and he was doing national recruiting, which is just weird to even think about. But with the portal these days, again, you miss on Delane's younger brother a year ago, and then 10 months pass, and then he's on your roster, not even a full year. So those relationships that he had built through recruiting were big. So like I said, I think having him in that room in addition to Corey Raymond, it's a lot for one person to do from the start, with safeties and corners, and you toss in nickel or other positions like star that they use, I think, a lot more at safety this year than they did a year ago with Harold Perkins. And I think it's a really good thing. I don't think they wanted to be in a spot where they had to go searching for someone just because he checks all those boxes, from relationships to, like I said, knowing the staff, knowing the current players.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Yeah, Shea, I was curious if Jake Olsen had left, what they would have done. And so I kind of opined on Locked on LSU that maybe they would have gone back and combined the corner and safety role with Raymond as the DB's coach, and then elevated Chris Kiffin, who's already got the co-DC title nominally, right? So maybe you could better explain like the 10, because everybody can coach on the field now. So like, what really is the value of the 10 sort of quote unquote full-time on-field staffers?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is going on the road to recruit. And I was trying to think the other day, Matt, and I was talking to some people in the office at On3 in Nashville about this, and we were trying to pick out what is the difference. And beyond salary, which I'm not even sure now how, with the amount, analysts and your kind of extra assistants are being paid, that with the ability to have kind of that interaction in practice, what you're referencing, what people may not know is like even when shadow staffs or whatever it was called began and you added legit coaches to positions, even if they weren't on field, you had to kind of like, it was skirt around, coaching and practice. You couldn't do any of that. So like if the media were out there, they were certainly not helping. Like that's not the case anymore. Everybody's able to pitch in. So really beyond getting on the road and recruiting, I'm not sure there's much of a difference between what some of these analysts are doing and then what your on-field coaches are doing, if you're giving them the responsibility, which I think you brought up the perfect person there, a guy like Kiffin, who is coaching linebackers, which allows Blake Baker to bounce around to kind of every position as a DC, which he was not doing before. And if you've got enough faith in a guy like Chris Kiffin to be a linebackers coach and Baker's there, then the difference between on-field versus just an analyst role is nothing more that I can find than you being able to go on the road and recruit. And I'm glad we're talking this out, or at least I am out loud, because I'm so stuck in that mindset of the 10 on-field assistants. And I'm looking right now on the website, there's like 20 guys listed that I would count as on-field coaches right now. So I don't know how they're breaking it up, but between having inside receivers coaches, in addition to George McDonald being a wide receivers coach, and having a quarterbacks coach like Dane Stevens, or having, people who are assistants on the D-line beyond your two coach like Lou Spanos, and then still have a special teams coordinator, which kind of you had to dance around that at times with 10 on-field coaches. So, and they've got Joe Houston, right, from Florida, who had been the special teams coordinator there. So, beyond recruiting, and I'm guessing these guys are probably paid well, that there isn't much of a difference anymore, and that's a good thing. It's kind of like more hands on deck.
So I really wonder if they would have if Olsen had left, I'm not sure they would have added someone. It feels like Chris Kiffin would have just taken that role as the 10th on field that could go recruit. Maybe they would have added someone else on the shadow staff or something. But yeah, it's a fascinating time. All right, Shea, before you go, we know we got the dates for spring football. What is the recruiting calendar now? I know that the staff is all out during this dead period, but what's next? Fill us up, between now and the start of spring.
Yeah, so they will be coming, but spring starts on late. So the 23rd, 24th is when spring football starts, and it runs to April 24th. So you're coming in after LSU has spring break, which is the March 9th weekend. So it's like the 9th through the 13th or something like that. So they're not going to have that break in spring ball. So you'll have however many straight weeks of it. And for recruiting, they're already lining up visitors during that stretch, just because they know, hey, look, we've released the dates. There's no extended break here. And I'm glancing at the calendar now. Yes, the dead period will end on March 1st. So March 2nd through April 14th is a quiet period, which means you can't be off-campus recruiting, but you can have guys onto campus. So as is the case each spring, I don't think it'll change just because the head coach does. They'll have recruits at every single practice, whether it's Louisiana guys or guys nationally who kind of make the rounds and hit up a bunch of spring practices with schools they're offered by. And that'll be every day for them across those 15 allotted practices. And then spring game is the 24th, Matt. I'm looking here. That's an open, you move right into a full contact period. So they'll be back off campus again. So there's no point in spring ball across that entire month where they can't be recruiting, which means, like I said, every one of those 15 practices, they'll have some recruits on the sideline.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Get him on Twitter or X at Shea Dixon. Thanks, man.
Yep. Happy Mardi Gras, everyone.
Same, man. We'll see you. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Of course, we always tell you how First South Farm Credit can help you finance your land. Well, maybe you need that farm equipment that you get from Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. You can finance your farm equipment at First South Farm Credit as well. But of course, we talk about First South Farm Credit. What we're talking about is buying land. And at the website, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. You get the ultimate recreational land buying guide. It is totally free. It is an awesome resource. It's right there at the website. If you're thinking of buying land, you should go use that free resource to learn about this process. And, of course, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Thanks to Shea for joining us. Verge Osbury in 28 minutes from right now. LSU's AD. We'll also talk some LSU baseball. Ben McDonald next hour. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. We'll go around the SEC. And Mike Elko, the latest to pound the drum for a college football commissioner. We'll let you hear what the Texas A&M coach said next on AFR.
After Further Review.
Great day on this holiday, maybe to pause. A lot of people have the day off. Maybe you've given your staff off. It's a good time when you have time and you're just getting off the hamster wheel of the day-to-day to take back, pull back, look at the 10,000-foot view of your organization. And maybe this is the time to get online and check out Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions at Glow Resources. It's pretty simple. At Glow Resources, they help you find the people that are going to make your business the most effective it can possibly be and the most efficient it can possibly be. glowresources.com. They are not a temp staffing agency, and they have grown to be one of the largest private companies in Baton Rouge. They're on the Business Reports list, the top 100 private companies in Baton Rouge last year. No doubt they'll be there again this year. If you're trying to drive your business forward and you need complete confidence, Glow Resources can help get you there with looking for your solutions. GLO, glowresources.com.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun, over by the gate, Lordy, here.
March Madness is heading to Vegas, and LouisianaSports.net is sending one of you plus a friend with it. We're giving away a 3-night Las Vegas getaway from Wednesday, March 18th through Saturday, March 21st, just in time to watch all the madness. Hotel stay and flights are covered, and all you have to do to enter is head to LouisianaSports.net and click the March Madness giveaway link. Sign up now before our March Madness Pick'em launches. Get yourself entered, and you could be watching the tournament from Las Vegas instead of your couch. The winner will be announced on Monday, March 2nd.
Had a great weekend. Saturday, I went down to Endymion. If you've never been to Endymion, man, it is just I think the Endymion Ball, or the Endymion Extravaganza, as they call it, is maybe my favorite night of the year annually. If not my favorite, it's certainly on the short list. It's just, the Superdome is full. This gigantic parade rolls through the dome. It's so much fun. You could pull this up. All these are some photos of me and Erica from there. I put on my Instagram and my Facebook. And the great thing, man, is it's just beautiful people in informals and just having a great time. And there's so much energy and life and love and music, and it's just fantastic. There's DJ Ash, by the way, from the Mixed Nuts, came and watched the parade with us before they did their set, which was really cool. He did offer for me, again, to come on stage to do neck with them like we did during KKDL. And I didn't make it, however. We tapped out at 2:45 a.m., and it was storming outside, by the way.
That's a good time to call it quits, honestly.
Well, not really, because then to walk back to the hotel, it's storming. But I'll tell you this, Muse. One of those instances where being an older guy actually paid off. So while everybody, all the youngins were out there waiting on Ubers, all standing out there with their phone, waiting on Ubers.
Just getting drenched.
Well, no, under the overhang of the dome.
Okay.
But they're all out there waiting on Ubers. You know what your boy did?
What'd you do?
Your boy walked about 100 feet, and there was a line of taxi cabs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you ever ridden in a taxi in your life?
I have not.
It's crazy to me. So found a taxi, and the taxi cab driver was willing to take me and Erica to our hotel just off the meter if we paid in cash. So also being an older person, I carry cash.
There you go.
And so slipped the dude $60, and guess what? I mean, he only brought us about a half a mile. But, well, you walk half a mile in torrential rain.
Supply and demand, man.
Yes.
Like I
While
get it.
wearing a tuxedo and your wife is wearing a formal. And I also had new shoes on, and I was not interested in walking back to the hotel in my new sneakers. Actually, Paul, show this. This is me and Erica. Go full screen. There's me and Erica. At the Endymion Extravaganza, looking very dapper. She's beautiful, but check. I mean,
shiny.
Come on.
Black and gold.
Metallic gold.
Okay.
Hey, Richard Condon, eat your heart out, chump. Try to put me on blast for wearing sneakers and a formal. Old guy, wear your old guy shoes and hurt your feet.
I was gonna say a lot of people do that now. Like that's kind of a thing, right?
Yes, it's very socially acceptable, and I love it. And I got so many compliments on my sneakers. So take that, Condon, you big dork. Why don't you go complain about jambalaya and turkey and things like that? Fried turkey. Those are Richard's old bits. He's talked about.
Okay, I was about to say I'm lost there, man.
Yeah, it's okay. We had a great time at Endymion. Shout out to Keith and Danae Neal. They invited us to go with them. So Keith rides, and so they invited us to go to the extravaganza at their table, and we have a great time. Love going. It's my favorite thing to do. All right, it's after further review. Don't eat fried turkey or jambalaya. Psst, why would you do that? Go to Supper Club. Just texted with Chef Layton. They are open today. So while a lot of people are out there hanging out, begging for cheap plastic beads, why don't you go to Supper Club tonight? A great way to spend Mardi Gras. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservation. SupperClubBTR.com, or just pop in. Remember, always open seating at the bar 14 bar stools, 7 bar tables. We want to go have dinner tonight? Great night to go by Supper Club. Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday. I know a lot of y'all on Ash Wednesday, you could be giving up meat. You can be on Fridays in Lent. You're going to be giving up sweets or alcohol or whatever you're doing with Lent starting. How about you go for one more binge? Go for one more amazing meal before Ash Wednesday, before Lent starts. Get by Supper Club. Do it tonight. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. Want to have the best freaking meal of your life? That's right. You go to Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com, or just pop on in today after work, or if you got the day off, they'll open up here in about an hour and 15 minutes or so, right at 5 o'clock. So get on by tonight. See our friends over at Supper Club, SupperClubBTR.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference.
Texas A&M! A&M's released contract details of a new 6-year, $69 million deal for Aggie coach Mike Elko. Keeps him there through 2031. Wonder what the buyout is. Elko will make a base salary of $10.75 million and get a $300,000 bump every year theretofore after. New deal includes a variety of terms, incentives, and all kind of blah-blah-blah.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia is working to hire West Virginia's Larry Knight as the outside linebackers coach. On three, he's the first to report. He's been an edge pass rush specialist. Last season, Knight served as defensive end coach and run game coordinator defensively at Arkansas State. So Knight has one previous stint in the SEC, defensive quality control coach at Tennessee from 2013 to 2015.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Maryland set to hire Arkansas quarterback coach Clint Trickett as their offensive coordinator. Pete Nakos, the first to have it. Former Maryland offensive coordinator Pep Hamilton expected to transition into a senior advisor type role with the program. Arkansas hired Trickett, who spent 2025 with Jacksonville State as their offensive coordinator. So he's hired just on December the 19th, but now before even ever coaching a game 2 months later, it looks like he's headed to College Park under Mike Locksley.
The Texas Longhorns.
And Texas and Arizona State have canceled a future home-and-home series, and they will not reschedule. That was supposed to happen in 2032 and 2033. Remember, obviously, with the SEC going to a 9-game conference schedule, a lot of these Power 4 non-conference home-and-homes in the future are being wiped out. The Longhorns have future non-conference games with Ohio State this season, Michigan in 27, and then a home-and-home with Notre Dame in 28 and 29. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. SunnyQuip.com, SunnyQuip.com. Verge Osbury is going to be here in a little more than 15 minutes. And I remember Verge, before he was LSU athletic director, Verge Osbury, he was LSU senior associate athletic director who was in charge of football scheduling. And the last time we talked to Verge, he did confirm to us that LSU was canceling its future non-conference series with Arizona State. It was not going to be rescheduled. And remember, that was the series that was at first scheduled back in 2001. It was scheduled in 01 and then was set for 05-06. It got disrupted due to Katrina, got put off. It was then later delayed again, and then now is being delayed a third time and then ultimately canceled. So we will talk to Verge about the future of football scheduling as well in the non-conference and what he'd like to see. I mean, with 9 league games, should the SEC keep its Power 4 non-conference mandate? The Big Ten doesn't have one of those, so you are, in effect, putting yourself at a disadvantage now with a 9-game conference schedule plus the Power 4 mandate. So we'll ask Verge about that coming up here in just a little bit. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. The opportunity for NFL teams to use their franchise tag opens today. Should the Saints do it? We'll talk about it next. AFR.
After further review.
REV. Let's Rev. Let's Rev.com. Let's Rev.com. Let's Rev.com. Hey, 70,000 Louisiana home and business owners can't be wrong, can they? Of course not. So you should switch to Rev. If you don't currently have your internet, your cable, your home automation with Rev, it's time to switch. REV, let's Rev.com, let's Rev.com. There's so many reasons and advantages to switching to Rev all over South Louisiana. It's faster, more reliable internet with speeds up to 5 gigs. The Wi-Fi equipment is included at no additional cost. There are no long-term contracts required. There are no unexpected price increases after your promotion period ends. The price is the price. There are no data caps, no hidden bandwidth overage charges, and 100% local service and support. It is Rev. So let's Rev, y'all. R-E-V. Let'sRev.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up a land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one who really...
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Verge Osbury will be here in about 10 minutes from right now. Today, Tuesday, is the day that NFL teams can begin to use the franchise tag if they want. If you're not familiar with how the franchise tag works, it's pretty easy. If a player is going to become a free agent and the team can't agree to a long-term deal with that player, they can apply the franchise tag to that player, which means they retain their rights for that season. Players don't like that because they would like a long-term deal. Teams like it because it marries that play. It gives the team control of that player's rights for another year. The downside is it is very expensive. So they take the average of the top 5 highest paid players in the league at that position, and that's your franchise tag number. So the anticipated franchise tag number for a cornerback this year is $21.41 million. So really the only player that the New Orleans Saints might be looking at using the franchise tag for is Alontae Taylor. And just for some context here, that $21.414 million would put Alontae Taylor among the highest paid cornerbacks in the NFL. A.J. Terrell is at $20.25, and Deron Bland is at $22.5 million in average annual value. When you look at next season, that would put Alontae Taylor above Derek Stingley Jr. for the most guaranteed money at cornerback in the league on a per-year basis. So it is highly, highly unlikely that the New Orleans Saints would use the franchise tag on Alontae Taylor. And this is why, and look, Taylor has been I think a good player for New Orleans. I just think he's out of position. He is not a boundary corner. I think Alontae Taylor should either play nickel or safety. And that's where he has been at his best in the NFL. He is not a boundary corner. And it's another illustration of why, when we've talked about this plenty, but I continue to look at New Orleans and the opportunity they have picking 8th in the draft. And I know there's so much focus on Jeremiah Love, and there's a lot of mock drafts that have the Saints picking there. I keep looking and going, okay, well, you don't have a number one lockdown corner. You should not, and likely will not, pay Alontae Taylor as a number one corner using the franchise tag. It doesn't make a lick of sense. That is not requisite value for the caliber of player that Alontae Taylor is. So if you're not going to pay Alontae Taylor that number, and by the way, you should not pay Alontae Taylor that number, then how do you land a cornerback at that value? Well, you could trade for one if someone's willing to trade a number one corner, but it certainly doesn't seem like the Texans are going to be willing to trade Derek Stingley, or look at whoever else would be the top corners in the league if you were interested in trying to make a deal. You could, but are you willing to give up future draft assets and other players as you're trying to build your roster? Well, the other option is you draft one. And picking 8th in the draft, you'll have the opportunity to select the best cornerback in this draft, whoever you think that is. If it might be Mansour Delane, could be the kid from Tennessee. Like, there's whoever you go through the scouting process and determine is your top cornerback in this year's draft, you have the option, will very likely have the option of taking that player 8th overall. And then you get a true lockdown number one corner on a rookie deal for 4 and likely 5 years, provided you pick up the 5th-year option. Again, it's just another illustration of why. I mean, you used a second-round pick on Kool-Aid McKinstry. And while I think Kool-Aid could be a very good NFL player, he's not a number one. We saw it repeatedly this year. When he had to go try to lock down an opponent's number one receiver, he struggled. So go draft the best corner in this draft class and have Kool-Aid be your number two. There are so many ways to do this to build the roster, but I don't think Alontae Taylor is one that the Saints should or will be eyeing for the franchise tag here with the franchise tag window open. We'll see if they can get a deal done with Alontae Taylor, or if they're looking more long-term at other options if Taylor does hit unrestricted free agency and decides to sign elsewhere. We'll see what the market will bear for Alontae Taylor. Okay, it's after further review. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. SportsCenter's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. Come back after SportsCenter. We'll talk to LSU Athletic Director Verge Osbury, Ben McDonald next hour as well. We got a ton to do, and glad you're with us here on this Mardi Gras. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. A Saturday night into Sunday morning, man, there was that awful rainstorm that came through. And I always know when it rains because our phones over at Parish just ring off the hook whenever it rains because I tell you all the time. It's just how you know when you have damage. But if you had water intrusion as a result of those storms, Parish Restoration can help. It's easy. Just go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. And there's so many ways that their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment can help. If you had water intrusion, have mold, think you might. If you need restoration or remediation, Parish Restoration can help. But it's not just for mold or mildew or things like that. If you need sanitization, need to get rid of odor, their dry fog can get rid of that as well. So maybe you've got cold or flu bug or COVID going through the office, the church, the school, whatever it is. Have Parish come. They can spray. It'll kill everything down to the spores. ParishRestoration.com. It's ParishRestoration.com.